everyone, and welcome to the Positive Success Show. I'm your host, Dominique Narciso, and I'm a success coach for high achievers living abroad. I help you redefine personal and professional success so that you can build a lifestyle that creates more income, impact, and freedom. So everyone, I have a big, awesome guest here today, episode 41, Dancing in the Ecstasy of the Present Moment with Athena Tabula. Athena is a breath coach, yoga instructor, and also the founder of the global yoga movement. I became friends with Athena over 2 years ago here in Seoul, South Korea, and she's just been an incredible presence and positive force in my life, and I just wanted to give her the space to share her story and to also teach you a few things about wellness and breath and yoga and the importance of really taking care of yourself. I know all of us are super high achievers, very ambitious. Athena and I were very similar in that way. We want to do a lot, but we also know that it's important to take the time to pause and reflect and reassess and do all those things that you need to do to make sure your mind, your body, and your soul are aligned. So without further ado, Athena Tabula.
Yay! Thank you, Dom. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, no, this has been a long time coming, and I know we're all in this like crazy time right now, and it's challenging. It's challenging for a lot of our listeners, just everyone around the globe. And I just wanted to bring you on the show just to highlight your story of how you got into yoga, how you got into just wellness. Because I think as much as we can work, that's not, in the end of our lives, it's not going to give us the health and the vitality and everything that we need as a human being. And so if you can share with us your story of how you got into yoga, like what was your process and
First and foremost, I want to tell you that you have mentioned the two most important things, which is health and vitality. That's essentially how I got into yoga. So in 2010, just a few years ago. Just a few years ago.
Oh my gosh.
No big deal. So 2010,
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with bilateral epicondylitis.
Okay.
And basically, those are big words just to say that my hands were not working for me anymore. I had tendinitis on both hands.
Oh my gosh.
And ultimately, what that led me to believe was how important it is to promote health and vitality, because no one else is going to do it for you, right? I was overachiever, type A, alpha female, couldn't have anybody do anything for me, can't even open the door, can't even turn the page of a book.
Wow.
I had to do everything.
And that's with both hands.
With both hands. I was a marketing manager of a global event marketing agency. And of course, I thought I was doing the right thing. I was crossing everything off the list. I was climbing the ladder. I was doing everything that my boss wanted me to do. And then her boss, and then that boss's boss. And it was my idea of achievement at the time. And it was my idea of the road to success. And this road to success led me into physical shambles. And not only was it a physical situation for me, I think for anyone, physical suffering is temporary, right? Like it's how we process and it's how our body signals something is not right. Well, that's how it all started for me, was that literally I woke up and my phone, I couldn't pick up my phone to turn off my alarm. And the simple feeling of tingling, numbing, sharp shooting pain all the way up to my neck, just from the simple act of reaching over and grabbing my phone, led me to tears, because I was in so much pain. I mean, has anybody, I would never ever wish that on anybody.
Can you just describe what a typical day was like before the shooting pain came to you, just to give the viewers and the listeners an idea of like, what it's, because we can all relate to this, those days, or even like those weeks where you're just going, you're not even giving yourself some time to breathe, like literally, like take a moment to breathe. Just
Yes.
describe a typical day in your high stress job, but you were in achiever mode and yeah.
Yeah, so let's start with the night before. Okay, the night before I didn't get ample sleep. The night before I was probably up and doing emails, creating emails, answering emails, reading something, or just in front of my laptop, hunched over in bed with blue light and all of that bad stuff that we know today is bad for us.
Yeah.
I had 2 laptops.
Oh my gosh.
2 cell phones.
Oh my gosh.
Traveling, running the department, creating presentations, answering to emails. So it starts with the night before. It always starts with that, right?
Yeah.
I didn't understand intention. I didn't understand self-preservation. I also didn't understand self-worth, to be honest, because to me, I equated self-worth and my development and my success with, I'm just gonna work as much as I can and as hard as I can. I don't need to sleep. I don't need to eat. I don't need to do anything right. I don't need to exercise. What exercise? I didn't have time for exercise. So I stayed up in the office past the late hours. I was always the last to leave. Sometimes I didn't even see the sun because I would come home late. I would go home, answer emails, work some more until I was so tired I would fall asleep in front of my laptop. The next morning, pick up and do it all over again.
Oh, there's so many gems. If you rewind that for a minute or 2. So she says, Athena, just to reiterate, because I think it's very important to highlight what you've learned is, 1 is you weren't being intentional. 2, you were talking about self-preservation. And 3, self-worth. And I think, just those, it's so powerful. This is why I want Athena on this show, is that you can work, and not even be aware that your body and your mind, everything is out of balance. And but clearly with Athena's story, she had this event happen where it was a clear signal, hey, you need to wake up. This is not sustainable anymore.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally, I had to wake up. And even then, let me continue rewinding, is that was a regular day for me. Day in, day out, not even 5 days. It was 6 days. It led to 7 days a week. I was just working so much. And even though there were actual signals, looking back, now that I'm standing and sitting here with you, looking back, Dom, there were signals. There was already a signal, whether it's a physical signal, a mental signal. There were signs from everywhere telling me something's not right. My hand would cramp up and I would just keep typing and I would ignore it, or I'd wrap it up in a bandage, or, I would have a drink. I would do anything to numb the pain or ignore the pain. And so all of the different habits that I had back then, looking back now, only perpetuated what happened inevitably, which was to that moment, that one morning I woke up, I couldn't pick up my phone without feeling sharp shooting and numbing pain all the way up. And I literally just was flabbergasted. It was like a huge slap in the face. It was a wake-up call. And that was when I was like, oh, okay, I hear you now, whatever it was. So that was
the moment. And when did you kind of walk us through your process of deciding your wellness path? How did you come to choose yoga, or what was your transition to a different kind of lifestyle?
It's a good question. What led me to yoga was actually my roommate. I had a roommate, and she saw that I was just in complete stress mode, that I wasn't living a very healthy lifestyle, that there were a lot of things that I would complain about but didn't do anything about because it's always just easy and so much more convenient to complain. And as Lisa Nichols says, she says that we all want the convenience without the inconvenience. And that's what I was just tapping into, right? Like I was like, oh, this hurts.
Yeah.
Never did anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm tired, and it's because I didn't sleep.
Yeah. I do that sometimes too. Like, why am I so cranky?
Yeah.
But you forget because it's like you're just living life and you're like, oh, wait, I have to be very mindful of my sleep habits and just the very basic day-to-day things that keep us healthy.
And it's ironic because as adults, we know what's right. We know it's easier said than done, right? Yeah. We know that we need a certain number of hours of sleep to function. We know we need to eat, otherwise you get cranky. Yeah. But yet it still happens. Yeah. It still consistently happens. And so, again, my roommate just saw this really bad vicious cycle, and she just dragged me to a yoga class. She's like, put some pants on, I'm gonna get you a bottle of water, we're gonna go to a yoga class. And that's exactly what happened. And I was like, a what class? I had no idea what I was getting into.
So you never did yoga before that?
Never in my life.
Really?
No.
Oh, wow.
No. I mean, I'm sure like a while back I heard about it, but again, never had time because I was too
Thank
busy.
you. Cheers to you, roommate. You know who you are.
Thanks, Jamie. So anyway, so she dragged me out to a yoga studio, and the interesting thing, looking back again now, is my first class was, I didn't know it was a Bikram yoga class. And if you know anything about Bikram, they call it the torture chamber for a reason. And I was tortured up to over my head, over a lot of things. First off, I didn't wear the right clothes. I wore like a pair of pajama pants and a tank top. And I just was I was physically and mentally not prepared. Yeah. And I'm setting the scene here because it was my first yoga class. Didn't know what to do. Thankfully, Jamie brought me a bottle of water and prepped me with a towel and stuff. Yeah. And came there, and what I saw was everything. In the sense that the most important thing that I saw was I saw myself. I saw that, oh my God, like I'm so out of touch. I was in my 20s. I thought, I'm agile. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah. A yoga class should be good, should be helpful. Yeah. And no, it humbled me to the very, very grounds, like literally to my mat. I was gassing out. I couldn't breathe because think about this, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, guys. Sorry. Okay, so Europeans are Celsius, but 95 degrees.
So Bikram yoga is hot yoga.
95 to 104. It's actually technically Bikram is about 104 plus.
Oh my gosh.
There are some studios that do 112 degrees Fahrenheit at 35 to 40 degrees. Yeah. 40% humidity. Sorry. And so. This is
sweat beads.
So I was sweating. I was in my yoga class. I was drawn down to my knees, and I was humiliated down to stop to square one. And that was exactly what I needed to, you have that aha moment or like the come to Jesus moment. And as soon as I got down to my knees and I was trying to catch my breath, because of course the teacher. Thank you, teacher. His name is John.
Thanks, John.
So he was standing up on the podium and he was just yelling out the Bikram moves, like, lock your knees, and just telling everybody what to do. And everybody was getting into these like amazing, beautiful pretzel-like poses and contortioning, and I was like, oh my gosh, get me out of here. The very first thing he told me to do is stay in the breath. Get with your breath. Just make sure to connect with your breath. No matter what happens, no matter what you do, if you start hyperventilating, just take a moment. And there was that one moment where we locked eyes, and he looked straight at me, Dom, and he goes, just breathe. And I looked at him just like a good, diligent people, and that was my way of saying, all right, I'm gonna stay here with you in this space, and I'm gonna count on you to get me through the next 90 minutes, because it was a 90-minute class.
Oh my gosh.
Long story short, went through it all, looked around, saw some beautiful poses. I saw some things I probably couldn't unsee also. Because it's hot, people just had nothing on. It was fun. But you know, and through the process, like it was also like a humbling journey for me to get back. And I was like, I need whatever this is. It was hard, and it was, you know, it was definitely like one of those obstacles where I was like, I must understand, you know. And I'm careful to say I must achieve it, right?
Of course.
Like you know, at the time I was so humiliated and I was so put in my place that I was like, it allowed me to reflect what exactly was in that mirror. It was like, Athena, you need to get your life in order. Yeah, your career may be going up here, but all the other things, the relationship, the house, the, you know, the self-care, the health, and going back, health and vitality, that was what I saw in other people except myself. So those were those.
Woo!
Arts.
Did you hear that, everybody? If you're in a place where you're feeling like things are off, it's probably because they are. And, you know, use Athena's story as an example to get reconnected to yourself. I love that you were saying, you know, you realized, two things. One is that the yoga class humbled you. And two is that it made you realize you were out of touch. And I think, wow, what a great way to become self-aware, because it's through a physical process, right? Sometimes you don't even know that you're out of touch because you're in your head so much. But then when you are challenged by something new, which I highly recommend for everyone, like, you know, challenge yourself to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, you start to realize things about yourself. And so I love that you did Bikram yoga, 90 minutes. Connect to the breath, just breathe.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. And so that was the start of my journey. Ultimately, you know, I continued, and while, again, that was a harrowing experience to have been brought back when I thought I was Superwoman. I thought I was like on top of the world, I had everything I needed, you know. But in reality, that was just a mask. It was just a skeleton. And so Bikram literally brought me back. Actually, one of my favorite quotes, sweat in peace so that you can bleed less in battle.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's like the whole, just keep practicing.
Yeah.
Keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. Or just the practice of mastering something. Oh, wow. Yeah, the first time Athena told me her story, I was just like, oh my God, this is so great. Because it's, you know, you can always choose, there's always two choices, right? You continue doing what you're doing, and then, you know, that leads to other health conditions in the future, or you decide to make a change. But not just a small change, you make a lifestyle change.
Right.
You decide, you put your, you draw the line in, is that correct? You draw a line in the sand, and you say, no more. I'm gonna get my health back, I'm gonna get my sexy back, I'm gonna get my vitality back, and here, you know, I meet Athena, I guess 8 years after that initial Bikram yoga, and she's just glowing and awesome and just like an open person. I'm like, wow, she's so awesome. Like, I'd love to be her friend. And really, Athena, like the past few years it's been great getting to know you, understanding you, and just learning so much. I've learned so much from you. Like, I think the first time, so Athena also teaches yoga. I asked to see her, and she's like, Dom, why don't we connect to your breath? And that was I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? Because I wasn't connected to my body. I'm all up here. You remember? Yeah, I was all up here, and then I realized oh my gosh, I just haven't been taking care of my body. So I thank you for that. I'm just thinking back to, you know, when we first became friends. Anyways, so Athena, you have the Busy Yogi. This is your business. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, or just?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it all is connected.
Right?
Yeah. So the Busy Yogi actually started in 2016, and when after doing several years of yoga, after having recovered from tendonitis, after kind of going over my whole situation of learning through that and doing that self journey, I also ended up quitting my job, traveling a little while, and then coming back.
Yeah.
And it was the comeback. The Busy Yogi was essentially after having traveled, after gaining a certain level of peace and you know, self-worth, self-love, self-preservation. And the self-walk is what I would call it.
Self-walk.
The self-walk, yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that.
It was my claim to the universe. There was time for me. I was in such give mode, I was such in nurture mode and produce mode and perform that it was time for Athena to walk home. Because that ultimately was what my journey was about, is I thought I was a machine, and I had to learn how to become human again. And what that meant to me was letting go of everything I knew, quitting my job, traveling for 14 months on a backpack. One backpack.
So awesome.
And that was fun. But you know, to go back to it, the Busy Yogi was after having gained so much wisdom and understanding a little bit more about myself and the world around me, and having that deeper connection to source, to spirit, to my body, to my breath. That was when I was invited back to the industry. I was with the trade show and conference industry, and I basically was going to be heading back to the races. And so...
Oh, because they asked you to come back and work with them.
Yeah. So I was hired by another company in the same industry. And that was my turn to be able to sit and think to myself, like, okay, what does Athena 2.0 look like? I know I'm going to be busy. I know what the hours are like. I know it's high stress, fast-paced environment, right? Constantly. And that was when I told myself, no, I'm going to stick to this. I'm going to stay in my center. And how do I stay in my center, right? And so that was my avenue. I was basically just, you know, a solution to my own problem.
Yeah.
And that was how I started the Busy Yogi. Was I decided that upon returning back from my trip, I just so happens there was a yoga teacher training back in my home yoga studio. At the home yoga studio, Dom. I was practicing yoga, and I was like, how ironic is this timing? Got my teacher training. Right after I got my teacher training, that was when I was like, all right, let's begin. So
I love it. Oh my gosh, and I'm like, let's begin. Okay, I'm going to close my eyes and set the intention.
I mean, no, that's how it was. It was like, all right, well, now that I have all the tools, how do I go back to an industry that I love? But knowing full well that I can't let it suck me in like it did last time. I can't plummet back to this level of pain and suffering, physically and mentally, that I endured back when I didn't know. So now, when I went back, I drew the line in the sand with my boss, with the employer, even before accepting the job. I said, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. Are you cool with that? Cool. And so that's
I love it.
Negotiation 101.
Yeah, just say what you want and be
Set
like,
your
and it's done.
intention.
Yeah.
It's all about intention,
Oh
Dawn.
my gosh.
Every single chapter. And so that's exactly what I did. I set my intention. I said, I'm going to work hard. I am going to just give it my all. But at the same time, on the moments that I need to rest, I am going to rest. I'm going to rest fully. And my version of resting was sleeping, yoga. I mean, all the 4 pillars, right?
What are the 4 pillars? Oh.
Have I slept enough? Did I eat? How's my stress level? My mental level? My all that. So all of that was, like, I look at it as the 4 pillars. This is my physical, my mental, the stress, and food. Right? So it's kind of like a table. You kind of have to determine what's missing, or what needs tilting up, or what needs tilting down. And so for me, that was my compass to allow for me to continue doing yoga. And because of the fact that I was traveling so often, I was looking for yoga studios. in different places, Boston, LA, Washington, D.C., San Francisco. I was constantly traveling. I was turning suitcases.
Wow.
Like, people at the airport knew me. My points were pretty high. So anyway, point is that I started the Busy Yogi because I found myself, again, working late, working hard, but I never let yoga go. I never let go. Even at the moments where I experienced so much stress, right? I was on hour 30, of a certain show, and I was like, I need a moment. So I would literally just hide off to a corner in the convention center.
Wow.
And I would close my eyes. I would set a timer on my phone.
Yeah.
If I had a minute, I would give myself a minute, and I would just close my eyes, and I would just connect back to my breath, and literally just hear my own breath. Sometimes I would just like close my ears if I didn't have a head.
Yeah.
We usually have headsets or walkie-talkies. I'll turn that off.
Gosh, I can't even imagine you like with all the gear and just like you're just trying to center yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm like, okay, aisle 4, and then on the other side I was like, so I was that person.
But like, talk about integrating, trying to make it work, right? Like, if I don't have the space, I'm gonna create the space.
Yeah, I had no choice. I had absolutely no choice. Hence the Busy Yogi. So I was busy. I was busy, that's for sure. But I was a busy yogi. And so no matter what I did, even if it was just like kitschy in the beginning, I would, stop and like strike a yoga pose in the middle of a trade show floor on a booth during a booth installation or something. Because that was my claim. That was my claim to say, you know what, never again. I will never again allow my health or my vitality to be compromised.
Oh my god, I learned something new about Athena every time we meet. It's just like, she's making me laugh, I'm like about to start crying, and then I'm like taking a deep breath, I'm like mirroring you right now. Oh my gosh. So tell us, or share with us, so Athena's like, she's just always progressing every time I see her. She's like, oh Dom, I'm like learning this, learning that. Like, she's such a great, if you can find an Athena in your life, like someone who's constantly learning, no, really, like I learn so much from you every time we meet up. She's creativity, innovation, like everything. She's really great. And recently she has been up to something that I'm like, oh my gosh, you like started something, and I didn't even say congratulations. So can you share with our listeners and our viewers what you are the founder of and the intention behind it and how they can get involved?
Sure. So I am the founder of the Global Yoga Movement, and if you want more information, just go to globalyogamovement.com. And basically, the Global Yoga Movement is a sub-brand of the Busy Yogi. So going back really quick, the Busy Yogi is the ultimate, it's the brainchild of everything, because not only am I a busy yogi, but everybody is a busy yogi, right? And everyone can achieve this level of harmony. I like to call it harmony, because balance can be, a different definition too. But so the Global Yoga Movement started out really, with this being my first post, having lived overseas for the first time, I had to go back to the basics and understand what are the principles that will allow me to stay centered. What are the different rituals and the habits that I need to keep to be resilient no matter where I go. One of those things is community. Second, my highest value is yoga, movement, breath, connecting, not just with the body, but other people. And so, and interestingly, COVID hit at the time. Like, I launched the Global Yoga Movement because I was getting ready to prepare for transition. Because it was summer transition. I didn't know where I was going to go. We were supposed to be heading to Pakistan. And then COVID hits. And of course, COVID says, stop, all of y'all. To everybody, right? And so all of a sudden we were stuck inside our houses. And we didn't know what to do. And I was like, but wait. Actually, I was thinking of starting something anyway online, because I didn't know how long I was going to be in Korea. And I wanted to keep my dear and loved and valued friends like you and other people. And I was like, how do I stay in touch? Well, The best way for me, and what was often my conversation starter and my way to stay connected both myself and other people, was yoga.
Yeah.
And so the global yoga movement was born.
So if you're stuck in quarantine right now, take some tips from her, start a movement, any type of movement.
Anything you're into. If you're into juggling, dollhouse making, baking, I don't know. Just don't hurt anyone.
And so global yoga movement, you started it during COVID, which is amazing. I love this story because it's all connecting, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you're playing at a certain level, and then you're challenged by something why not play bigger? Mm-hmm. How do I take my ideas and spread them out to other folks and connect folks? Because really what I see too, with my work, is I'm a connector. I connect with people. We're connecting with you, via this podcast, via this video. So that you don't feel alone in your journey wherever you are, and you want to start something, you can start it. There are people every day that are starting new things and trying new things, because the kind of life that is unsustainable, unhealthy, where you feel low energy, that is not the future. The future is, how do you get back to what is natural for you? For all of us, how can we start working, playing, living in a way that makes sense, in a way that is I don't know, harmonious.
Yes.
Because I think that is how do you get to there? And a lot of it has to do with not producing, but with resting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Connecting with your body, connecting with your breath. Mm-hmm. Gosh, Athena, I'm so excited for what the future has to hold for you. So you're off to your next adventure sometime soon. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, at this point we're all in limbo. We don't know when or where, if the trigger is going to be pulled, if it's not going to be pulled. Yeah. But global yoga movement and the biz yogi is what's helping me sort of maintain that level of homeostasis. So, again, going back to the global yoga movement, it gives me an opportunity to reconnect with friends and family back home in the States, and allows me, it's a free 30-minute yoga class via Zoom online. Yeah. Right now, it's an online form, and I'm calling it the virtual yoga studio.
Awesome.
Because a lot of people can't go to a yoga studio, and so they have to count on the internet. And so at this point, different times and different phases around the world, but it's once a month.
Okay, once a month. Awesome.
Yes,
awesome.
As of right now, at the most I can commit to is once a month.
Yeah.
This will change. The global yoga movement will evolve as we grow bigger. We're starting to actually grow as a community. I've got people from Japan, Philippines, United States, Canada, Austria.
So we can log in, or we can go to your website right now, globalyogamovement.com,
and sign up for the newsletter. And then, are there prior Zoom yoga sessions available already that people can go see, or
not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
So this is new. This is still, the site's being built.
Okay.
In terms of the global yoga movement, but that's in the works.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, final question, Athena.
Okay.
Since this show is called the Positive Success Show, I want to know, in your opinion, what does positive success mean to you?
Positive success to me means the level of my definition of a certain direction is going in a positive direction. So basically, whatever intention I put into it, whatever it is that I put my mind into, that will be my measure of success. And as long as it's going towards a positive direction, right? Not harming anybody, I'm helping everyone, including myself. That to me is my definition of a positive success, because my understanding or my definition of success is different from your definition of success.
Yeah, everyone has a different idea.
Right. So that would be my answer.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, folks. Athena Tabula, founder of the Global Yoga Movement and great friend of mine. I know you're going to be doing awesome things wherever life takes you, and I'm so glad to have you on the show today. Thanks, Athena.
Thank you, Dawn.
Okay, everyone, we will see you next week. Remember to be bold, be positive, and take action every day. Bye for now.